you're trying to figure out different ways to use your washi tape and are like me and have a collection starting to grow, this is the video for you. Hello beautiful, what is up? Welcome to the channel. My name is Caitlin if you are new here. I focus a lot on how to bullet journal and different tips and tricks along those lines. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 15 different ways to use washi tape in your journal, both with those plain washi tapes and those decorative ones that you might not know what to use with them. First up, I think it's important to note that when you're looking at washi tape on the roll in comparison to on the page, it can be totally different. Number one is a swatches page. This is going to help get around that issue. So looking at what your washi tape looks like on hand without having to actually open up your drawer. It's going to act very similar to what a pen swatch page would look like at the back of your book. You can write down all the information next to the type of washi tape that you have down on that page, the type of collection name, where you got it down if you're feeling fancy, also if you would buy it again. Number two is a color coding system. Now, when I was a student, I loved to color code my items like my classes. This made it so much easier when I was referencing things for when they were due, for assignments, study logs, things like that. I use this same mindset when creating different trackers in my bullet journal each month. Here is where we're going to be creating a mood tracker using different washi tapes. I can use the washi tape to color code the pattern of the emotion that I'm feeling for that day, and I'm not limited to using one color, but instead can use a pattern. What I would recommend for this is using a thinner washi tape just to make sure that all of those lines fit comfortably on the page. But you're more than able to use whatever thing you have on hand. Number three is to use the washi tape as a border for the spread. Now, you can just have this as the top and bottom lines just on the side, or like what I'm doing here in this spread, filling the entire outside of the page. This is going to add some visual interest when you're creating different layouts in your journal. Number four is a creative decorative title. One way to change up your titles that I've chatted about before is to change up your lettering style, but this time I'm going to show you something a little different. By first putting down the washi tape and then layering our text over top of it, we have a decorative title. This is going to make the page stand out from our regular text. This can be done instead of or with changing the lettering styles to add a little something more to your spreads. Number five is very similar to number four, but we're going to create some decorative banners. I have an entire video on banner ideas above that I will link for you, but for now, I'm just going to stick to that classic flag banner. What you can do is you can tape it to the page and use an X-Acto knife to get out the shape that you like, or instead use a pair of scissors to cut it and then paste it in your journal. Number six is to divide the page. So instead of using pen or marker, just pull out your washi tape. Here in my reflection tracker, I wanted to divide the different topics from my picnic date into different sections. So I have one for games, one for food, and then so on and so forth, depending upon how many sections you have for it. Now, the washi tape that I used was a little bit thicker, so I did need to cut it down to size, but if you do have thinner washi tapes on hand, this idea would be perfect for you. Number seven is to mark the page that you revisit often. With my Archer and Olive journal, I have two different bookmark options, but sometimes I want to quickly reference more than just those two pages. For any extra pages, you can always use washi tape to mark either the side as a tab or on the top corner. When marking the entire page or corner, this is going to give you something a little more low profile looking, but when you're rotating the book, you can see it perfectly on the side. I like to use a thicker washi tape so it kind of stands out a little bit more here, like I did in my financial journal. When creating the tab markers, I first start by cutting out a thicker washi piece and folding it on half in either side of the page that you're going to be marking. You can then cut off any excess length, but then you'll be able to see it when you flip open and close the book and easily access the page that you're looking for. Using this similar method, you can also divide your Dutch door pages and add a distinct divider between the front and back pages like I recently did in my project planner. Along the lines of tabs, number 8 is to create tabs for your weekly spreads as well. Now, instead of having the tabs stick out like in our previous example, we are going to be cutting the tabs out in your journal instead. I did this in my August plan with me and color-coded every other tab with a different toned washi tape to make it stand out. But please feel free to use those patterned washi tapes as well for this. Number 9 on the different ways to use your washi tape is as an alternative to glue. Sometimes you run out, maybe you don't like the stickiness, or maybe you're just looking for something that looks a little bit nicer in your bullet journal. Washi tape can be used for taping items down in your spread. My personal favorite that I've used is this Dutch door peekaboo idea that I did. You can have a little secret going on underneath. Have you ever created the exact same spread over and over, or started a new journal but needed a spread from an old one? Number 10 is how to use the washi tape spreads to transfer from journal to journal. I showed this trick in my bullet journal grid spacing guide video on moving different papers from one bullet journal to another, but it can easily be replicated with spreads that you haven't completed. Take this 50 things to do for 2022 page, for example. I have multiple journals throughout the year, and I want to keep that same list because 2022 hasn't ended. This would work perfectly for the idea of writing out that list on a separate piece of paper, taping it down using washi tape in your current journal, and then transferring it from journal to journal. Okay, but maybe you don't have an entire spread to use, but you have certain items that you need to be moved around. Number 11 is to replace those sticky notes with washi tape. The thing that I love about washi tape is that you can stick it down, you use it, and you can move it if you've made a mistake. Maybe you have a vacation week that's not been confirmed yet. So what you can do is tape it down in the section that you think it's going to be in your calendar and then move it around once your manager approves or your flights are booked. I personally like the idea of adding in a little more personality to my productivity spreads and using washi tape in my Kanban board by moving my projects from spot to spot. Number 12 is probably the most often way that washi tape is used, and that is as a decorative element. You can do this as a more subtle way by adding layers like I've done in the scrapbooking theme and I did in my reflection section, or you can incorporate the patterned washi tape into a piece of art by cutting around the design that you created. What I recommend for this is just drawing out the item that you want to be using for your art piece first in black pen. It's going to make you be able to see the lines where you cut with that X-Acto knife just a little bit easier. Number 13 is my personal favorite and go-to when I use washi tape, and that is to get crisp lines. I show this constantly, I feel like, in different Plan With Me videos that I do because it works. For this, I wouldn't really recommend using your most fancy washi tape because what happens in the end once you're done drawing or painting over top of it, it gets discarded. I personally like to try and use washi tape over again where I can so that I'm getting the most out of what I'm buying. Number 14 is to incorporate it into your bullet journal theme. Like the mood tracker that I showed you before, the paint roller theme is a perfect way to use up that pattern or planed washi tape. Another theme idea is to use your washi tape in a geometric design. I ended up using this washi tape from the Washi Tape shop, and I'll have everything that I am using and all the washi tapes just linked down below in the description box. But the nice thing about this patterned washi tape is it fits in perfectly with this theme. You can pencil out a design if it's a bit more detailed like that leaf on the left-hand page, but for me, this was just a very simple, basic geometric pattern, so I could go straight in with my X-Acto knife and cut around the different details and layers. Number 15, and my final idea to use your washi tape is as another bookmark. I tend to get a lot of scraps from the different Dutch door pages in my bullet journal, but you can also use cardstock as well if you're looking for something a little bit thicker. What I did is cut out the size of bookmark that I wanted and folded it in half to give me that thickness and taped washi tape on either side of it and glued it down using my crafter's tape. Now what I can do is quickly reference any page that I am looking for. I can put it at the cover of my monthlies, or I can put it in where my today to-do list is. Well, that is it. My personal favorite was the bookmark. I love incorporating that into my weekly spreads. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite one was out of these 15 different ideas, and if you use washi tape in any other different way. I'll have some other weekly ideas just linked over here for you, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!